This is Launchlabz training session 1. Today we will understand how real enterprise system works. This is the main method. This is the main class, right? And when you run a project, then main method is the entry point of that project. So yeah, I am just starting from really basic over here. So you see it is executing in this order, right? This is the entry point. This line gets executed first, and then flow goes to the next line, right? This is a basic thing, but if you are beginner, then that may help. So over here on IntelliJ, you can see the project structure, right? So over here you see src folder that includes the source file. Over here main, it is a source file. That is a very simple class we have right now. So let me show you how to create a project. Right? You can just IntelliJ, you can create a new project, new Java project. Let's give it a name. I have already created one project, so this is just for the demo. Yeah, you can give it any name, but it has to be meaningful, right? As a developer, make sure your project name is meaningful. You can choose a location, which using Java here. So yeah, language for this kind of project, which choosing Java. Build system, for now, I'm just choosing IntelliJ. But Maven, remember, it is a build system. It provides all the necessary tools, libraries for the build. And JDK, the over here, the most recent I have is OpenJDK 23. But I recommend Java 25. I mean, if you really want to use the most recent one, but Java 8 is all we need. If you don't have a Java install on your system, I would recommend Java 25 because Java 26 is the most recent, but it's a feature build. So it may not be, as stable as 25, or it may not provide the long-term support. So yeah, that's a little clarification on which Java you should use. Because in my system, I already have 23, so I went with the 23. Let me introduce object-oriented perspective over here. And then we will learn about Java parallelly, okay? Yeah, let me create one Java class, right? And understand when I say class, it has a meaning, right? So let me just create a new class account, right? Because I just talked about opening a bank account. We're not going to solve a very complex problem today, but it is a problem. For example, account, it is a real thing, right? If you have a bank account, you must have the account, where it should have account information, right? So when we say object, it is the representation of the real thing. I have defined this class as public, but it's attribute, right? Just think of some attributes of the account object of your account. Your account has account number. Your account has some balance, right? Those things, those real things are the fields. And I'm defining those fields as private here. This is what object-oriented perspective actually, because we don't want to directly access the fields, but we will eventually access them, but through the methods. So over here, I'm defining this. This is just a one field, account ID, right? And it is of int type. Over here, let me explain a little bit about int. right? It is a primitive data type. We'll learn more about it, but for now, just remember int is a primitive. Yeah, if you already work at an enterprise level or if you're familiar with the object-oriented thing, this is very basic, but trust me, this gonna be complex real quick. So we gonna define another variable, for example, account holder name, right? And I have defined this as a string, but right, it is different than int. Int is primitive, but a string, it is an object, right? You can go here. But yeah, let's not go to the deep right now. Let me just, give you the high level implementation. Uh, so yeah, let's say our account has a balance. We will introduce constructor here, right? So yeah, because we don't have much time, so let me just have IntelliJ generator constructor for me. Uh, Constructor is used to create and initialize an object. For example, your particular object, when it has to be initialized, the constructor is called. I just told you that account, we have private fields, right? And we cannot directly access this field. But how do we access it? We access them through methods. We just write a function, right? Not having IntelliJ generated. I'm just trying to have a function that returns integer, right? So when this method over here, if you understand this, so this is a getter method. So by using this method, we can get account ID, right? Get account ID is a method. It returns something that is int, right? It returns account ID. Let me generate another getter for other two as well, right? So these two method gives other two information. Try to understand this method. This method is public, right? Unlike the fields. It returns a string, right? And it doesn't take any parameters here. Okay, now let's have setters. And let me also have a toString method. ToString. Right, so this is one domain class, right? It is account class, and it has a fields which are private. It has a constructor. It has getters and setters that allows us to, get these fields or change these fields, or we can set those fields, right? Not directly, but through the methods. Object is account my. Right. So over here, we are trying to create an account, actual real account. It was just a blueprint before. It doesn't have any value here, right? But yeah, if I hover over here, it says it expected 3 arguments because that's how we define this constructor. So you need to pass some value over here, right? So we have the account ID, we have the holder name, and then balance. Okay, let me provide some information. For example, ID, this is your first account, right? Name, let's put Launchlabz, right? And then the balance is 1000. Data type, it must match. So over here, account balance, it is expecting double. So So over here we are calling a constructor and it should create an object, right? Let's see what it's doing. Here you can see the count, right? It is we can see the count. Right over here, what happened? The account object, it got initialized. It has now the balance. We can see the balance, the account ID, all those things, right? Yeah, let me just extend this idea a little bit further and try to store these account objects into a list, right? Yeah, it may get complex real quick. So yeah, let me, yeah, have this account, no problem. What I'm trying to do, I'll just clean a little bit. Yeah, over here now, think as a developer, and we are trying to solve the real problem. We are trying to filtering a positive accounts. Let's see over here. Okay, yeah. Let me try to add one method here. So I just added a method over here. It returns Boolean, which is a true false, right? So when the account balance over here, if it is less than zero, then it returns some value. We'll figure out that. Let me define a list so that it can hold multiple accounts, because it's not just one account, right? At the enterprise level, there will be millions of accounts. So I'm defining a list of account. Right? I'm using array list over here. Why I'm using array list? Because, right, it's a little flexible, and we will see how it is flexible. So yeah, my ID is complaining about this, so I can import this list. So now let's add multiple accounts to this list of account. Right? When I call a constructor, it creates an object, right? So let me do that. I'm manually adding values over here. That is not the scenario at the enterprise if you go to, but this is, we're trying to mock that scenario. So John, he has $550 on his account, right? This is one account, John's account we added to the list. Let's add multiple accounts for now. Bob is a little broke right now, so he has negative balance. Let's add one more. David also not doing very good. Okay, so yeah, what I did, I added list some account objects, like four objects, four accounts. Now, when I say account, that is object, right? And object is an instance of a class, and class is a blueprint for the object. That is a very important idea. Let me restate our problem. Filter out an account that has negative balance. Past due account cannot transfer the amount, right? So that filtration is necessary. Okay, so how can I do that? Now let's think as a developer, right? I have four accounts, and how can I filter out? It's a very basic thing because it is the first day. So we need to iterate over this list, and then we need to compare their balance if it is greater than zero or not, right? And then we will then collect it, or we will print it, or we will do whatever we want to do with that data. I'm trying to analyze each account from the list of accounts, right? And if that account, because I just added a method over here, is past due, I'm gonna call that. If each account is past due, right? That is the account, we want to filter out. For now, let me just printing it. This is okay. Let me try to run it. Yeah, so over here, if you look at the output, it has two accounts, right? One Bob's account and David accounts. They have negative balances. In the next session, we will learn more about how we can build RESTful APIs using Java-based framework. For